The year 2018. The place, Mooresville, North Carolina. I had just drugged this car out of Melvin's garage the exact way he left it when he raced it all through the 60s. And I wanted to make a pass to experience exactly what he did through the 1960s.
I'd say he's a nut job.
Okay, I'm just going over some data at the time. I keep a entire notebook full of data. This is kind of old school stuff. A lot of modern racers, not picking on them, but a lot of modern racers don't do stuff like this. They don't have to because they've got computers and all that'll tell them everything they need to know. Uh, but I keep track of every place I go, the density, altitude, the humidity, the uh, elevation, temperature. I keep track of my 60-foot time, 100-foot time, 330 time, eighth mile, my mile per hour. I keep track of time and jets and all that for each one of those situations. And I'm just kind of mentally preparing for the weekend here, going over some past data and deciding what changes I want to make to the car. Uh, and based off the prediction for the weather forecast that I see, um, let's see, elevation change. I should do, but for over 20 degrees and temp increase. So, uh, it looks like, according to the data that I have now, the car may be set up a hair rich, but I'm okay with that for a test for a first pass. Um, it may want. Uh, the only thing I can't predict ahead of time or get a good idea ahead of time is barometric pressure. Um, Barometric pressure does affect things. Now, again, if you were a modern racer with a computer, you could kind of tippy tap on things. But what I need to do is make sure that I bring uh, a couple of jets with me and a timing light because we may have to make a last minute change. I think if I look at what I have in it now, I think I'll be okay. I think for for starting out a basic tune to start with, I think we're gonna leave it where it's at and try it there first. I don't know that I'll change anything, but I may change something. It's been a hell of a ride, old girl. I remember the first time I laid eyes on that car. I was building a Falcon uh, to race. Actually, I had quite a bit of work done to the Falcon. I already had it painted and uh, had the interior kind of like I wanted it, and had an engine on the stand, and had the bottom end done in it. Uh, and Man, I remember it like it was yesterday. It was 2018. I was actually working on the Falcon, and I had a friend through a friend kind of thing who was a tow truck driver, and I get a phone call. He had went out to do a call. A guy had a Ford Ranger, but was still under warranty, and it was having some issues. And he called him, and the Ford place sent a tow truck out to get the truck and bring it back. So he calls me and he tells me, he said, "Man, you got to go over there and see what this man has in his garage. You're going to like it." Well, he knew that I'd been looking for a Galaxie. I kind of have family history with a Galaxie, growing up and all. So he didn't tell me what it was. He just said he's got something over in his garage that I need to see. Well, car's less than a mile from me, and it had been there since the '90s, and I never knew it was there. But I pull into his driveway, and his driveway loops around, and his garage was turned sideways so that you couldn't see what was in the garage from the road. And as you drive down the driveway, it came around, of course, to go to his garage. And normally I stop way back and walk up the front door, but for whatever reason, I don't remember what the driving force was. I pulled up kind of at an angle like this, and I looked, and I could see the front end of that Galaxie sticking out of the garage. I talked to the man, and he had no actual interest in selling the car, but he told me stories about it. Um, a buddy of mine had went over with me to look at it, and he had ordered the car in '63, and it was such a new thing at that time. I believe he told me he had to wait 4 months after he ordered it to actually take possession of the car. I believe he said 4 months. And immediately that car was born to race. He ordered it with that purpose in mind. He was a military guy, and he wanted something he could, when he wasn't on duty, he could have fun with, and that was his weapon of choice. The tack that's actually in that car, he put in that car in 1964, still works flawlessly. It's original of the car. My goal was to keep that car as much like it was when he raced it as possible, but over time, through rule changes and all, that car has drifted away from what Melvin had, and I want to bring it back to that. So I talked to him and tried to make a deal with him, and of course couldn't. This was spring. This was real early in the year. Uh, there was still a little nip in there. It was early spring, uh, and he had no interest in selling the car. But we stayed in touch. We talked on the phone. We stayed in touch with each other, and I kept working on the Falcon. I actually had the Falcon ready to drop the engine into, and we went on vacation. Went to visit my in-laws. Uh, they live up in Michigan, and of course we're in South Carolina. If you didn't know, and we went to visit them over the summer. It was early summer. I want to say June-ish. I want to say early June, like the first week or so of June. And I got a phone call, and he said, "You still want to buy that car?" Yes, sir, I want to buy that car. Um, and we talked. We struck a deal, and I became the caretaker of that car. Now that car had been sitting on blocks in his garage since the very early '90s, on jack stands, and I think I have a picture of it. If I do, I'll insert it here. And his wife had uh, after I started working on the car, and I would send him videos of the car running, and I'd got the car. The car hadn't ran in 25 years, maybe close to 30 years. The car since the car had even been cranked up, and I put a solenoid switch on it, uh, put fresh gas in it, and fired it up, just like you just cut it off. And that's actually how I took it to Mooresville the first time for the first race. I didn't change a thing on that car. It was exactly, a matter of fact, if you look at the pictures of that car from the Mooresville race, I'll put a picture in. There was only 3 Superstock cars there. Uh, we were struggling to try to get a class started. Uh, and I've got a picture. There's only 3 of us there. And the front wheels and tires that's on that car are the same wheels and tires that's on that car when I drug it out of his garage. It's been sitting there for 30 years. Not the smartest choice, but it's what I had. And I had a set of slicks on the back that I borrowed from Mike White, uh, one of the other two drivers that was there. And we made a pass. It was not a good pass, but it was a pass in a car that was just the same as Melvin had last made a pass. I'm honored that he gave me the opportunity to own that car. And his wife constantly sends me stuff as I was working on that car, talking about Melvin had more pep in his step than she'd seen in years. Watching that car come back to life, it really brought him back to feeling like a young man again by watching me. And he sits around and tells me, Melvin still calls me and talks to me. Uh, he still he don't get around very good, but he's still getting around, and he still calls me and talks to me, and he'll tell me stories. Sometimes he tells me the same stories over and over, but that's fine. I'll listen to them all day, just like I'd never heard them before. I love hearing them from the man. He tells me stories about racing and where he raced, and the cars he raced, and the people he raced, and man, just some of the stories that he's told with that car. I'm absolutely honored to be adding to the story of that car, and the car is 60 years old this year. I think it's uh, I think it's about time. I think that car has earned it. That car has been on the track for 60 years. I think that car has earned retirement. There are a few little small things to take care of before I leave. Yep, just one. Okay. When you're out of race fuel, that's your option. And before anyone asks, yes, I do have a fuel sponsor, but through some of the events and stuff we've had this year, I've used up what I got from them, and I'm not going to bother them for a couple of gallons for one race. I'm not going to take advantage of their kindness like that. So they've given me plenty, and it's not going to hurt to run 93 non-ethanol pump gas one time. final chapter, the final part. This is how the story ends. Stay tuned. Let's watch some racing, and let's make some hellacious passes tomorrow. And we'll watch a little bit of testing tune tonight. Watch some of our buddies make some passes. But this old girl, I'm saving what it's going to do. I'm saving what it's going to do for tomorrow when it counts. Door frozen shut.
Good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
And I guess that's how it ends, right there. Not the way we wanted to end this season and retire the car, but the engine has developed a knock after that first pass on the rear of the passenger side. Don't know what it is, but I know this. Right now, a knocking engine can be saved and can be repaired. We can find whatever's wrong with it, we can save it and save this engine. a lot of money in that motor. But if I go out there again and try to make another pass, if whatever's making a noise in there decides to plan its escape, then there'll be a whole lot of expensive parts that can't be saved. Not the way we wanted to finish out, but we gave them hell the first round. The car made a extremely quick pass, even breaking up on the top end. It made an extremely quick pass. So we'll get it home. It'll sit for a little while, enjoy some retirement, and then I'll pull that motor out and see what the offending issue is. We'll go from there. Well, there you go, guys. I'm back home now. I will dig into the situation to see what happened at some point. I figure the car's been paying its dues for 60 years. It's earned a retirement. That doesn't mean we won't still do stuff with the car. The only regret I have in the situation is I truly had planned on putting on a spectacular show for our fans for our final race with it. That did not happen. We developed some kind of noise. It sounds valve trainish. I don't know what it is. What I know is we've got a lot of expensive parts in that motor, and I didn't want to hurt anything any worse by making another pass. Right now, whatever's in there is still inside of it, and whatever is in there can be fixed. If it decides to put in its notice and vacate the property, I can't fix it then. It's too late. So we decided to load up. I will upload another video at some point later in the week, probably with some race footage from some of the other folks, from some of the other racing that was going on there. What I want to do now is end the video simply by saying thank you. Thank you to all the people who have followed this car, to all the people that have supported this car. It has truly meant a lot to me to be the caretaker for this car. This is not the end of the story, just the end of the chapter. Stay tuned. There will be more to come. There's going to be another chapter to the story, but the time had come for this to take place. And Legacy is officially retired from sanctioned bodied racing. We're going to do some cool stuff with the car. Y'all stay tuned. But thank you from the bottom of my heart, from my family to everybody out there. Thank you for all the support. Please take a moment to like this video and take a moment to share this video with people. If a broke, poor country boy from the middle of nowhere can take a car and do with it what we've done, anybody can. I hope this story is inspirational to everybody. I truly love each and every one of you. Again, take a moment to share the video, like, please subscribe, it helps. And stay tuned to see what's coming. Thank you, guys.
say is a nut job.